Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, friends. Happy Friday. How are you doing? I thought the light, I probably should have brought a spare light down here. That's the one thing I forgot to do. I thought the natural light of the sun would be enough, but it's all right. It's fine. Morning, Kat. How are you? Happy Friday. Happy Kat gets to go home early day. I'm sure it's your favorite day of the week. And yeah, I think we're gonna get some stuff done today, which is very exciting. I feel nervous about having my tea so close to my elbow, so I think we're gonna move it out of the way. It's definitely my favorite. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. So the plan today is to finish this up, and then I'm assuming well, who knows? I think we'll have time, but if not, we will then start our string art. So I usually, the last few times I've been down here, I've not brought this mat down with me, but I'm a bit concerned that if we're going to be hammering nails into wood, I don't want to accidentally hammer through the nail and ruin the dining room table. So I have this here for a barrier in case that needs to be something we have to worry about. But yes, so just trying to prevent potential disaster preemptively. But who knows? I would like to think that I won't accidentally stab the table, but let's put prevention in place for that. But yes, I hope everyone is well. I am good. I was a sweaty mess earlier, but now I think my internal temperature has finally cooled down, which is good, because it took me a minute. But now I'm doing well. We kind of have, we have 1.5 more bits of floss. So the last thing we worked on was filling in this flower here. So there's a little bit left to do. And then the last thing is to use this color to fill in these 2 flowers. And then in terms of the actual paint by numbers, we are done, which is exciting. But I think what I want to do is then go over some of the bits and just kind of clean some stuff up. I did realize too, what color are you? Interesting. Oh, so we actually have more to do than I thought we did. So see all of these little guys, they also all need to be filled in today with this color. Well, it's a good thing, because I was staring at this being like, oh, we're almost done. And I was like, wait a second. That doesn't look like it's supposed to look like that. It turns out it is. Hi, Lola. How are you? Happy Friday. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Thank you. Yeah, I'm hoping the plan is to get it done today. Plan is to have a finish. So we have 2 more colors left in this sort of paint by numbers style project. And then I think we're gonna go in and clean up some of the extra areas because there's some sections that you can see the like original black outline and in other sections you can't. I think in a perfect world I would like to keep the outlines, but it feels kind of messy when some of them are outlined in black and other ones aren't, but I don't know if I'm just like thinking too much, like reading too much into it, but we'll see. But first we'll fill in all of the parts that need to be filled in, and then if it seems necessary, we will then clean stuff up. That is my want. That is the goal for today. But yeah, I hope everyone's out. Oh, the feet are gone. Shadow was on the sofa over there and his feet were in the air. If they go back up, I'll have to show you guys. You can just see flying feet. He was happy, but like not super happy with me, because I decided to, I took myself on 2 walkies today. So the first one was with Shadow, and then I figured, well, I needed to pick up his like worm and flea prevention treatments at the vet, and they were ready. Doing okay, did some plant. Ooh, found a snake around 1 meter long. Oh wow, that's wild. That's massive. Not dangerous, but just like a bit of a shock, I would assume. Yeah. Twitch does a recap for the last month. I sent 1,027 messages in April. No way! That's wild. I feel like that does track, but it's interesting. Oh, really? So this is like a rare occurrence as well. Maybe your garden's been blessed. I don't know. I feel like for you know, if snakes are a rare occurrence in Germany and then you happen to have one, maybe. It's a bit of a, you know, a scary blessing, but a blessing, you know, nonetheless. Yeah. 20 hours watched. Well, I'm always happy to have you. That's incredible. I love it. 2 days ago we had hedgehog. Oh, wow. That's cute. Hedgehogs are cute. Snakes are cute too in their own way. I love that. I love seeing gardens and like, I don't know, I just like seeing nature abound. We have tons of like gray squirrels that I see when I take Shadow for walks, or birds. The funniest thing to me is in our area, in the forests in our area, there's bright lime green parakeets. And I think, I'm assuming this is an old wives' tale, but I think it's probably has some fact to it that like a pet store went out of business. Or like people, when they don't want to keep their birds anymore, they just like let them loose. So now there's a bunch of like, they look tropical. Like there's tropical looking birds, but they're in England. Like it just is a very strange situation. So those are always fun to see. When you see a cluster of like lime green birds in the forest. Like oak trees and lime green birds is quite an interesting situation. It's a rare kind of snake. Oh, amazing. The snake was in the hole and poked a little. Oh, that's so cute. Just like poking its head out, being like, what's up? That's awesome. Yeah, you have those things too. Yeah, it must be a thing that just happens. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, snakes are pretty cool. But the fact that it was 1 meter long is wild. That's incredible. Oh, you on the move, pup. But yeah, so today, we went to pick up his flea and worm treatment, and it was, it's sort of a similar route that we take when we go for walks in the morning. So I was like, it's one of the few places where it's like socially acceptable to go into the building with your dog because it's the vet. So I'm like, okay, I'll go pick that up. And we got into the vet and he was like immediately no. And I was like, he must be getting flashbacks because last time we brought him to that vet specifically, that's when he got his balls chopped. So I'm wondering if he was having a little bit of PTSD about the situation. But I felt really, it was really bad because luckily the receptionist was really nice. And she was like, oh, can he have a treat? And I'm like, yeah, no, he totally can. And he's super sweet, right? And he came over and sniffed her and whatever, but then was like, no. And then I took the treat and he took it from me. So I think he's just super sus of everyone at the vet. And I'm like, honestly, man, I get it. In a way, I do get it. But we got his treatment and then we got out of there. We had a cat who would literally yell the moment he left the apartment because the only time, oh, yeah, that must be hard. Yeah, especially if with cats, because especially if they're indoor cats, they're not used to being out. So anytime they have to go somewhere, oh, that would be so difficult. That's heartbreaking. It feels so bad, doesn't it? You're just like, I'm really sorry, my dude. I'm like, I don't want to put you through this, but we gotta get stuff done. But then we continued, he was fine afterwards. We continued on our walk and, it was getting quite warm and he got to take a little dip. He got his feet wet in the little creek. There's a big old orange cat. I haven't seen him in a while. We saw a different orange cat, an orange alley cat on the way back from our walk, our first walk today. And I was kind of looking at it. I'm like, this one looks like a baby. This one's not the big, fat orange, king of the alleyway cat. So I hope he's okay. I don't know how old he is. I feel like I get the vibe from the neighbors that this cat has been around for a long time. So I hope he's all right. Oh, speaking of animals and seeing if they're all right, you know how I'm concerned about the fox on our walking route that the old lady feeds chicken to because we low-key think she's a Disney princess? I've not seen the old lady in a while, and the few times I'd gone for the walk with Shadow, I'd not seen the fox, but today we saw, I don't know if it was the fox, but we saw a fox in that area, so I'm like, okay, the fox is still good, or again, I don't know if it's the fox. This fox looked like a little bit of a baby one, so I don't know, maybe it is the fox, but things are still alive and well in that area, right? I hope the princess is okay as well. I genuinely, part of me thinks that it's because Shadow and I walk so much later. I think basically when the daylight savings happened, it just completely threw off our schedule and now we just do everything an hour later. And as of right now, it suits us fine. I'm sure when it starts getting really hot though, it's not going to be very good to be taking Shadow for a walk at 10 in the morning. Because if we go for an hour, it'll almost be peak sun by the time we get home, and he's not a fan of the heat. So that might be a problem. But as of right now, what I'm hoping is that the Disney princess old lady walks in the earlier mornings. And that's why I haven't seen her. Not because something is wrong with her, because she just is a morning person and I am not. That is my hope. But yeah, so we finished the walk. We had some zoomies, had a little dip in the creek to cool off the feet. But then I was like, I have to go out again because I had to go and pick up my prescription renewal. I think I'm a morning person as much as I don't want to be because I love sleep. That's interesting. Yeah. It's despite the fact that you love sleep, when you are awake, you are more awake in the morning. I'm still convinced, I'm pretty much 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's sort of my most with it time frame. So I'm not an early bird. I'm not a night owl. I think I've seen a meme where it's just called a perpetually exhausted pigeon. I'm like, that's me. Yeah. Do you find you're like, because that's the other thing too, and then people say, oh, do you sleep in on the weekend? And I'm sure you sleep in because it's not 5 a.m., but it's probably still like 7. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's good. Yeah, that makes sense where you're sort of like, okay, it's the morning, like, let's get up, get going, start the day. Whereas I'm like, okay, it's 2 p.m., try to get everything done now. That's my, my area. Oh, Gemma, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. That's nice. No, yeah, no, I'm not. I try to schedule most of my things by like midday. If I didn't have to work, I would probably sleep till like 7. Yeah. That's true too. Mm-hmm. Ha! Jess! I remember waiting and waiting for you to get up. That's true. When I was younger, I used to sleep in a lot. I remember but again too, when you get a bit older, it's like, you sleep in, like, you know, especially when you're like a teenager and stuff. Yeah. Oh, is this like for sleepovers? That's so funny. Yeah, I've never in my life have I been a morning person. Yeah, that's when I had a cool dolphin themed room. My friend was always a late sleeper too. I'd wait around for her on the weekends. Oh, I usually bailed on sleep. Really? You'd be like, I'm going home now. I don't care if you're not awake yet. That's so funny. I love that. You get out of bed. That's fair. I'm like that now. Like, well, I guess it's like when I was a kid, because you would have like a planned sleepover where you'd like get all your stuff and all those, like, you know, all your creature comforts and stuff. I really struggled when like I got older and people were going out to clubs and stuff. And then it would be like, oh, you would just like crash at so-and-so's house after like a night out at the bar. And I'm like, if I need to know if I'm doing that because I take like medication and stuff like that. So I'm always like, well, if I didn't plan to stay over at someone's house, then I won't have my meds in the morning. And it's like not the end of the world if I don't take it right away in the morning, but it still like can mess with your schedule. You know what I mean? So I'd be like, well, I don't have everything I need to have a successful morning after sleeping around at some random person's house. So I'm going to just not do that. Yeah, definitely. The trundle bed. Our other friend wouldn't let us sleep in the bed, so we had to sleep on the floor with no blankets. Oh, absolutely not. No. Yeah, because I had a bed, like I had a twin bed, but it had like a pull-out bed underneath it. Because when my brother was little, he was really scared to like sleep by himself. So like the majority of the time, he ended up sleeping in my room with me, and so he would sleep on like the little pull-out bed. And then, yeah, you also had a trundle. Oh, amazing. I know you could like, I think you could pop it up as well, but we just didn't do that. But yeah, that made it a lot easier. Then at one point I got a queen size bed, and then it would just be like you would sleep in the bed with your friend, which I didn't mind. You pop it up. Yeah, exactly. I guess the only downside to having those kinds of beds is that then most of the time people would have storage in their, like, under their bed. Because when I got older, that's what I ended up having. Like, when my brother was old enough that he could sleep in his own room. At one point I did get another sort of, like, day bed, like a twin-size day bed. But then the bottom had nothing underneath it, so then that's when you get like your slide in and out storage and things, which is helpful for stuff. But that's the only downside of those sorts of things, is that then you eliminate a storage opportunity. I just threw my shit in the closet. Yeah. Yeah, I had a dresser. I think when I got a bit older, I had like a stand-up wardrobe, and I had a little closet, but the closet wasn't very deep, so I couldn't really fit a lot of stuff in there. Did your bedrooms have themes? Because that was always the thing that I was super... Again, see, this is saying so much. Because I always joke to you guys how much I love a theme when it comes to parties. But I think I just love a theme in general. Because that was always the thing when I think it was twice that I got to redo my bedroom. Because I had my childhood bedroom. And then I think when I did the dolphin, like, under the water theme... That was the first iteration, so the theme was like blue and dolphins. And then the second one I did when I was in high school, and it was sort of like Phantom of the Opera style. That's the best way I could describe it. So I basically had like an off-white wall, and then I had a red wall and 2 black walls, and I had like a little chandelier and stuff, and it was like very in like fake crown molding. And I was like, this is my, like, you know, boudoir-y Moulin Rouge style room. But it wasn't a boudoir because I was a child. But you know what I mean. But yeah, I always loved a good theme. I had friends who would have, like, a color theme. Where it would be like, oh, this is just, like, the color of the room. But I was like, no. The whole room needs a theme. What do you think was your favorite childhood themed room? Start with Mickey Mouse, then switched over to like sheep. Okay. Next one was pink. Oh, the sponge paint. I think my friend had a room like that had the sponge paint. That was a big thing. That was a interior design aesthetic choice for a minute. Then there were stars and suns. You drawn them everywhere, and then I became an adult, so I painted my walls beige. The ceiling green. Oh, that's cool. I love that. That's the most boring your room ever was, but it had a green and gold glitter ceiling. That sounds fancy. That sounds bougie as. Yeah. That sounds so fun. Yeah, I think that's always the funnest. I guess that's the thing too, like when you're a kid growing up, as long as your parents don't have that like my room, you know, like my rules, my house, like everything is mine sort of thing. I feel like usually your bedroom is like that one place where you get to like express your individuality, and like that's your part of the house and becomes like a little sanctuary. So it's really fun when you get to like design it and stuff like that. Right now the theme is white walls, don't poke too many holes. Yeah, that's the downside to renting. That's the downside to renting, is you can't decide on like, you know, even if it was like a gaudy theme, you know, sometimes you just go, oh man, it would be trendy to have like dark purple walls. I hung up 3 things. Are you doing like the command strip route? Though I find depending on how well a room is painted, the command strips will also pull paint off the wall sometimes, which is a real pain in the butt. I think so I have a theory as to why that's happening with our house though, and I think that's because like the rooms in our house, oh, you definitely poked 3 holes. Oh, that's good. That'll be more stable. Because a lot of the rooms in our house, they were wallpapered and were just painted over. So I think what happens is then when the command strips come down, you're pulling force, and if like the wallpaper is so old, I assume that the glue sort of starts to disintegrate over time or dry out. So then when you pull a command strip off, it then creates this bubble where the wallpaper base is pulling off of the wall. So annoying. But the problem, I guess, with houses here is that seems to be a thing that people do more often, because behind it is all like plaster, and so if you pull off the wallpaper, you're going to be pulling off the chunks of plaster, and then it becomes more than just let's paint a room. It's like, let's literally DIY overhaul the entire space, because we have to like spend a million years filling in holes that we've peeled off the wall. So I get why people don't strip their wallpaper if they're painting rooms, but I feel like it causes problems later on. And then also too, you can see the seams. Like, we have spare bedrooms that we've painted, and when we moved in, these walls were painted, but you can see the seams of where there was wallpaper, and it would just all got painted over. So, you know, we're contributing to the process and perpetuating that, you know, problem, but it's just interesting. We're allowed to have small holes. That's nice. Yeah, because small holes are easy to fill. That's the other thing that annoys me about the houses in the UK. I feel like I've spoken to you guys about this all the time. Because, you know, all of the houses here are like brick and mortar, so they're not timber framed. So it's like everything is concrete and brick, so you can't just like hammer a nail in the wall to put up a picture. You have to physically drill a hole into the concrete, put a wall plug in just to hang like a photo, unless you're doing the command strip route. But some of the things, they get too heavy, or also like this wallpaper that we have here is kind of textured, so nothing that we've command stripped seems to stick on it. So it just becomes a huge pain in my ass. But because I want to do almost like an accent photo wall behind our sofa, but I don't have all of the photos yet that I want to put up. And so I feel like normally, you know, you could just like hammer a nail in, and then as you acquire more photos, like take it out, fiddle it around, do whatever. But it's like, it's one thing to have tiny like finishing nail holes, like you said, like little holes to hang photos up in the wall. It's one thing to have those and then pull them out and rearrange them. It's another thing to have full-on wall plugs all over the wall and go, oh, I don't like that there, let's change it. So I'm a bit hesitant to start that process, because I'm like, it's so much more than just hammering a nail in a wall and calling it a day. But we'll get there. Because I have a bunch of like tea-themed pictures that are in the kitchen, but we're planning to eventually take those down. I wanted to make sure only the lightest frames. Yeah. 2 Star Trek posters and Alabama shakes. Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, that's the other thing too. You don't realize like how heavy some frames can be sometimes. I don't know. It's just, yeah. We still never found the correct size frame for that thing that I was looking for Liam. So I've taken the glass out, and I think we can hang it without the glass, but still. Okay, just filling in these little flowers here. I feel like there's going to be a lot of extra little floof we got to get around. But it's not bad. Oh, okay. So then the second walk I did, I forgot to tell you. So I had to go back and get my medication, so my prescription. So we checked on the first walk with Shadow. I wanted to check to see if they were open because, of course, it's the coronation tomorrow. And I didn't know if they were going to be open. And so they were going to be closing tomorrow and not opening again until Tuesday. And I was like, damn, I don't think I have enough pills to last those few days. So I'm like, I do need to go back out. And you can't bring the dog into the pharmacy, unfortunately. So I had to do a separate trip that was without Shadow to do this. But when we walked to the vet the first time around, you know how I keep on harping on how I'm trying to find local honey because apparently that's going to help with hay fever and the histamines, and I don't know if when I got some at the farmer's market if it was a placebo effect, but I have been in a world of hay fever sinus hell since I've stopped eating it. So I've been on the hunt. So I knew of a couple places that were distributing it, and I was planning to go on Tuesday because I needed to go pick my dress up, and I was like, I can justify swinging around to do this. But it turns out that the bakery beside the vet stocks local honey. So I made sure to march right back down there after dropping Shadow off and eating lunch and picking myself up not 1, but 2 jars of local honey. So we'll see. So that's what's currently in the tea. So I'm gonna try my damnedest to just consume this almost like medicine, you know, like 3 times a day. Let's get the histamine sorted, you know? So we're hoping. I put a lamp in our kitchen because the overhead lighting is harsh. I think Chris hates it, but I just can't take it. Oh, interesting. So you, like, just in general, you can't have that lighting on? Is it, like, kind of really fluorescent? Is it, like, really kind of cool, like, kind of, not, like, neon lighty, but you know what I mean? Like, that really sort of harsh blue lighting? Is it one of those things where sometimes it's okay during like certain times of the day, or is it just like every time it's bad, it's not fun? The only problem with this is it's really, oh, there we go. We're really pushing holes down here. If you can't tell by the synth vibes, we're listening to the 80s Pretzel Rocks. I figured that would be better than, well, the lounge wasn't bad. I just thought we would test this out. And I'm not mad about it. We are experimenting with different musical vibes. Yeah, no problem. Right, it's not bad at all. Ah, the glow sticks have arrived. Remember I said that some of the last minute things we needed for the children's like loot bags? And also my Hobbycraft order where I ordered the rest of the boxes and the decoupage stuff because I was like, guys, we're gonna have to decoupage up a storm on stream next week. That's meant to be arriving tomorrow because I wasn't sure if I was gonna have all the supplies, like if it wasn't gonna come until like midweek. But apparently it's gonna arrive tomorrow, which is awesome because that means I can get a head start on all of the decoupaging. Because apparently too, I was reading up about like decoupage because I've done a few like Halloween decorations with it and like frames and stuff. and I always find that they're like a little bit, I don't know, like kind of sticky. But apparently you're meant to like, I don't know, you're meant to leave them to dry for like a really long time. So I'm wondering if maybe I didn't let them dry thoroughly and that's why they're like just kind of weird and tacky. But then it also doesn't make any sense because I've also like, they've been out for a long time. So if they're still tacky now, then that doesn't make any sense. But I know when I put the the Halloween ones away, they then like stuck together. So maybe I didn't use the right... No, because I have decoupage glue. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to troubleshoot to make sure that nothing sticks to the boxes after they've been decoupaged, except for the vinyl Cricut names that we're going to make for them. Okay. That one's not bad, but... I find the ends get... I don't know. I feel like I'm struggling with... I guess it's fine, but for me, I feel like there needs to be, like, decent definition of the individual components of these. And right now, it's all looking a little bit messy. There we go. That's much better, actually. So I just have to go in and clean stuff up as and when. Alright. That's a bit better. Ooh! I keep elbowing, or not elbowing, kneeing my stand. Words. Okay. There's some sort of like rogue long pieces. But this happens with all of our needle felting projects where I don't have the skill set to put one tiny thread into something. So we either pull it out or we have to like go in and snip some of these after, which I think that'll be okay. I don't know. We shall see. Ooh. As if I completely didn't see these earlier. Because yesterday, when we finished up the section we were doing, I was like, oh my god, we have so much going on. Do you ever get like those random long clear hairs that like, oh. No. I have like, not clear ones, but every once in a while, I'll definitely have a hair that like, you can tell is either meant to be a head hair or meant to be something else and it's growing in a weird place. Like I don't know if it's still here, but I have like this one random dark hair on my shoulder. And I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, and it's one of those where I'm like, I think you want to be, but it's really thin. So I'm like, if you want it to be an armpit hair, I think you would be thicker. But also like you're way not where you're supposed to be. I think I've seen, not long ones, but I've seen sometimes, 100%, I think that's what it is. It's like a cell got confused. Yeah, it's like, it was like, oh, we're meant to be here. And you're like, nah, dude. I see that too sometimes with guys, if they have like hair on their shoulders. And sometimes the hair is like really wispy. So it looks like it's probably like a chest hair thing, but on their shoulders. But then every once in a while, you get like a really thick one. And you're like, you wanted to be a head hair, didn't you? I'm like, you're too far south for that, friend. That's not where you're supposed to live. But yeah, I've seen sometimes, or also like with the clear ones, not necessarily long, but like clear, stubby, like eyebrow hairs, where you have something here and you're like, I can feel it, but you can't really see it. And you have to kind of pluck it by feeling and sort of hoping you narrow in on it when you get like the tweezers out. Did you find one? Found one just now. Yeah, on your shoulder. Oh, interesting. And you're like, excuse me, what are you supposed to be? Why are you here? It's traumatizing. Oh, your shoulder was, yeah. Oh, the worst thing is when you like have a loose hair that's on your body, like a hair from your head that's like fallen off and it's like on your arm somewhere and it just like wispy feels up on it and you're just like, and then you think you've brushed it off and then it's still there and you feel something and it's just the most irritating feeling in the world. Yeah. You're like, don't start. Absolutely, absolutely. You're like, listen, we can expect a certain level of strange given the circumstances, but this is too far. Sort yourself out, body. Regulate yourself, please. Yeah, I have this. I actually have two. To be fair, it's not come back in a while, so maybe it's finally happened, but I have this theory because I have these two really dark chin hairs. It's mostly the one. So it's mostly the one. I have this one really dark chin hair that every few months always grows back. And I was like, is there just a spool like in my head that I'm just constantly pulling this same hair out of the exact same location? But it's not happened, like, it doesn't happen as frequently anymore. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'm finally getting to the end of the spool, man. I'm like, it's only been, like, decades. I can grow a beard, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Well, I can definitely grow a mustache. It would be like one of those, like, really sad prepubescent boy mustaches, but, like, it could be done, you know? You know the ones where, like, the boys just hit puberty and they're like, look at me, I can grow facial hair. And you're just like, yeah, I guess so. I had a boyfriend put out the one hair. Yeah. Oh, that happened to me when I was a camp counselor in training one year. And I was hanging out with, like, a bunch of the kids I was supervising. And one of the kids was like, you have a mustache. And, like, made all the other kids laugh at me. And, of course, I was, like, a teenager. Like, I was like maybe like 13, 14, and I'm like, that is when girls are at their most vulnerable for like how they're feeling about their body. And I was so like mortified. I was like, why is this tiny creature making me feel that way? Yeah. D-soul patch too. That's amazing. Exactly. No, it's true. And that's the thing. It's like, you know, trying to combat that. Like we were talking about the other day, how I used to be so paranoid of like, and I think that happens again with a lot of people who are like socialized female, when it was like, oh, you go outside and it's really warm out and you didn't have time to shave and God forbid, or you missed a spot on your knees, because there's always a freaking patch of hair you miss when you're shaving your legs on your knees, isn't there? And so you walk outside and you're like feeling yourself, you're like, cool, fresh shave, this is great. And then you're like, there was a patch of hair. And when you're young, when you're like, you know, in that hormonal, vulnerable preteen teenager phase, it's mortifying. But now when you're older, you're like, dude, I'm hot. It's hot out. I didn't shave my legs. Like, deal with it. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, mine haven't been... I think the last time I did was sometime last month, because I was like, I might be wearing something. I was wearing tights, so I had half of mine not to. But then I had this, like, thought where I'm like, oh, if the hair is too long, it might poke through the tights, and that just might be uncomfortable for me. It was always a mustache. Yeah. Yeah, it's that, like, needing... Because the other thing, too, and I don't know if, because I've asked Liam about this, because obviously he doesn't shave his legs. As a man, he's not been socialized to need to do that. Because sometimes I find when my leg hair gets really long, and I am wearing, like, shorts around the house, it sometimes freaks me out because the hair will, like, move in the wind. And then it feels like there's just, like, something crawling on my legs. It's like I said, when you have hair that comes out of your head, like, because you know, your hair falls out all at once in a while. And every once in a while, it's just, like, really unnerving. And I'm just like, do you not get really uncomfortable sometimes when, like, a gust of wind goes on your leg hair? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, I guess because you have a higher concentration of it. But I'm not used to, like, yeah, I don't know. It's like a wafting across your body. And you're like, that's a weird sensation. I went to a spa convention and attended a waxing seminar the past weekend. I've heard people always only want. Really? That's so interesting. Oh, that kind of sucks though. So you had to be the wax model? Oh, I feel sorry for your follicles. Were they sore or was it pretty painless? That's wild. Go to a waxing seminar. Everybody has pre-waxed before the occasion. It does. It does. That's the thing. You do feel, I don't know, there's something when you, like, feel fresh and slick and you, like, rub your legs against each other and you're like, damn, I feel so, you just feel more aerodynamic, you know? You're like, I am speed. I can go so fast now that I have shed this weight. But yeah, oh, it's such a pain in the ass to actually do it. 100%. Yeah, there's no greater feeling than feeling at your max aerodynamic. I was so excited. That's amazing. I love that. Because then that's fun, because I guess in a way you're like, I'm trying new products. You're like, yeah, sign me up. I will be the model. I will be the before and after model for this product. Exactly, yeah. I think I only, like, waxed my legs one time, and I was like, no, thank you. I'll wax my eyebrows, and every once in a while I'll wax my lip, and I, like, don't care, but I don't know, I could never get, and, like, I don't know, and, like, the girlies who can get, like, bikini waxes and stuff like that, I'm like, all the power to you. That's not something I feel like I can do. It's spicy for sure, yeah. So I was gonna be daring and you cried for like an hour. Yeah, exactly. Well, because it's one of those where I've heard, like, if you don't pull it very taut before you pull it off, can't you, like, cause bruising and stuff like that? I don't know. I feel like if you are to do it, it's probably best to leave it to the professionals. But I love that. I was gonna be spicy. Yeah. No. Yeah, exactly. We'll never do it again. Yeah, you're like, I felt spicy that one time. Never again. That's incredible. Just that statement. I love that. I told Chris I was going to be a forest for the rest of my life. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I feel like that is like my final form. You know, it's not enough for me to just want to exist and live in the forest. I must become the forest. I got time like that. Oh my god. You guys. Oh, that's so funny. I love it. Yeah. Yeah, it's like going on a safari. Excellent. It's true. Exactly. Right? You're like, listen, don't be picky. Really? That she has to get up even earlier than you to go to work. And also too, I feel like if you're shaving every day, that would like absolutely lead to razor burn and stuff, wouldn't it? Like you need time for the hair follicles to grow back to have something to shave. That feels like a lot. Into the thick of it, the backyard against. Oh, that's so silly. Do you want to get me started? Oh, really? I don't think nobody I knew, like none of the people in my life had kids when the backyardigans were like a big thing. I guess, are they still a thing? It wasn't anything that my nephew was into. Maybe it was only a North American thing. Storm had for months. Oh, because of TikTok. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a place where they would bring back those things, I'm sure. No, when my nephew was growing up, it was all about Hey Dougie. And to be fair, we actually loved Dougie. When we were showed Dougie, we're like, Dougie's awesome. Liam and I actually quote Hey Dougie at each other sometimes, because there's this moment where I think all of the kids, so Dougie's like he's kind of like a scout leader, but it's kind of like a babysitter teacher person, and then all the little critters get dropped off and picked up every day, like most kid shows. And I think at one point they were doing show and tell, and this one guy, I can't remember what his name is, I think he's a rhino, I can't remember what his name is. So he brings something to show and tell, and it's this massive boulder, and he goes, I found a rock. And they're like, oh, that's really great, dude, maybe find something different. And then he comes back there and he's like, I found another rock, and it was like even more big. So every once in a while, when we're looking at rocks and stuff, Liam and I will go, I found a rock. I found another rock. It's just so silly and unnecessary, but I love it. And then they get badges, like they get scout badges at the end of each episode. My most favorite kid show moment was when Peppa Pig was talking to her. Yeah! I've seen the video, like clips of that one, where it's Peppa Pig just being an absolute savage. Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly the one you're talking about. Yep. I know exactly the one you're talking about. Oh, it's so silly. Here, let's pull this up. Yeah, let's move this. We're gonna watch it because it's so funny to me too. Let's mute the music so we get the full effect of this.
What's wrong, Peppa?
She's so...
I can't whistle, but everybody else can.
Never mind. I'm making cookies. Would you like to lick the spoon?
No, thank you, Mummy. Can I ring Susie Sheep instead?
Okay, Peppa.
Look at the spider lashes on the mama pig.
Hello, Mrs. Pig. Hello, Mrs. Sheep.
They have
Can
the
Peppa talk to Susie,
worst
please?
spider
Hello,
lashes.
Susie. Hello, Peppa. What are you doing? I'm learning to whistle, but I can't do it yet.
That sounds hard.
It's impossible. Can you whistle, Susie?
No.
Oh, good. I mean, that's sad if you can't whistle, but good because I can't whistle.
What's whistling anyway?
You put your lips together and blow.
Like this?
She's so mad. She's so mad. And we all had a friend like that. You know what I mean? I feel like we all had a friend like that in like primary school or even like in high school where it was like, as long as I'm better than you, then it's fine. And as soon as they're better than you at something, it's like, oh, well, fine, that's stupid anyway. You know? Oh, so silly. She's like, yeah, it's true. Yeah, that was the friend who wouldn't let me sleep in her bed. Yeah. She lost so much weight and thought she was hot shit. No, that's always so annoying. Yeah, there's always that friend where it's like, oh, shut up. It's not fun when you're good at it. It's only okay when I'm good at it. And you're like, okay, sorry. Oh, so funny. But yeah, I didn't ever realize how aggressively spider-like the lashes on the moms were. They definitely give, like, you know how... And also, too, again, there were also girls, probably... It was usually the ones that were also really big on the self-tanner. They would have the clumpiest lashes. And that was, like, part of the look. She recently apologized. Oh, wow. Guess she... Yeah, okay. Damn. That's pretty wild. Like, I don't know, because at a certain point... Well, I guess, I don't know. It's one of those things where if you were, like, the bitchy mean girl in school, how long do you give them to, like, atone, you know? But I guess to be fair, some people have really bad high school experiences where it's like, you know, it actually probably would be very helpful for me healing my inner child for you to apologize for being such a bitch. You know what I mean? So that was nice of her. Part of me was kind of like, oh, has it been way too long for her to have done that? But, you know, maybe that was helpful. Maybe she had 5 lashes because she really... Oh, we had this one substitute teacher, and she had, like, I don't know, she had a perm that made her head, like, it was, like, the tightest perm curls ever. But she had really, really long nails. And they freaked me out when I was a child. This was like the 2nd grade maybe. And I just remember talking in class because, you know, I was always, that's always the thing on my report card. Tasha talks too much. Tasha talks all the time. She's very lovely to be around, but she talks all the time and is, you know, anyway. But, so I just remember her coming up behind me and, like, putting her hand on my head. But it was just her nails touching my head because they were so long. And I remember asking her one time why her nails were so long, and she was, like, so offended. She was like, well, some people just grow them that way. And I was like, damn, I'm, like, in the 2nd grade. I'm, like, what, 7 or 8 years old? Like, yeah, she got really mad that I questioned the length of her nails. But yeah, I just have this memory of her putting her hand on my head, or she would do, I don't know, I feel like, I don't know if she would do the thing, like, on the desk or on, like, the chalkboard or something. But I do remember her putting her grody nails on my head, and me being like, I guess because, like, obviously now, like, having really long nails and, like, having things, like, I don't know, like, having really, I feel like, back in, like, the 90s, I don't know, it seems like having really long filler nails wasn't that big of a thing back in the day, because I don't think those were her natural nails. Maybe they were, but they were really long. And I feel like the closest thing I could think of is when you're a kid and you learn about, like, witches and stuff, and you're always told that witches have really long, spindly fingers. So I feel like she was giving me like witch vibes, and that's why I was like low-key afraid of her. Is because of her long witchy nails, which now, like, long witchy nails are actually a trendy thing. But back then, I was like, you know, she was like Angelica Houston and the Witches to me. Okay. Those two are done. Oh, I guess I started that one. I didn't realize that. I obviously started doing this one and I went back and finished these. Okay. Maybe we won't have time to start a new project, because if these tiny little dudes are gonna take their sweet time, by the time we finish all this, what are we doing? We got loads of time, but still. We know my time management skills are not good. Oh, did you? Oh, what was the book called? I still have a book I need to finish. I'm on the last chapter, and I want to finish it before my parents come because I want my mom to read it. Maybe I'll do that tonight or this weekend or something. But yeah, tell me. Next of kin. Okay. Let me Google that. Book. Oh, there's lots of books named that one. There's two foster parents much to their apartment. Oh. Interesting. Yeah, that's so funny because you type in the book and it's like there's a lot of different ones. Okay, Hannah Brown. Interesting. There we go. There we go. Well, that sounds really nice. Next of kin fostering of their younger siblings. Oh, it sounds really nice. That's really cute. That's an interesting concept. I wonder if that's a real thing. I assume it probably isn't, but that's an interesting concept of like two people who want to be able to be the primary like foster parent to their children, like to their siblings, but because they don't meet the qualifications, they then team up in order to meet them. That's interesting. I like that as a concept. Yeah. absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I firmly believe in the it takes a village approach to child rearing, whether of your biological children or of foster children or adopted children. I feel like the more people you have being positive influences in those kids' lives, the better, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, I could see that with people in my life as well, where you sort of see the circle of care that they had to support them within their upbringing, and it's kind of like you can see the influences that other people in their life had for them, even if they weren't necessarily like the parents. Oh, wow. That's amazing. Yeah, because Liam grew up, it was very similar with his family. Not the same number of grandkids, but, like, all the cousins, like, grew up together and played together and stuff. And, like, their family were also their friends. Whereas I had a different experience where because my family, like, my parents and my brother and me lived so far away from my cousins and aunts and uncles, but also they were all a lot older than us. So we didn't really... Yeah, like we didn't really play with them. So it was more, there was still a circle of care but then it had to be outsourced. So instead of like family members babysitting us, we had neighbors or we had daycare because we didn't have the sort of, I guess, the unpaid labor of family to support in those instances. Whereas, yeah, it was different for Liam and his family, which is cool. Like it's very interesting, and I do think that it was helpful. Yeah. I can see in some ways where it wouldn't. Oh, oh no. Where, like, obviously sometimes with families it can become quite insular and almost very, like, cult-like. And then obviously if, like, not good things are happening, then it's probably not always a good idea to have keeping it all in the family quite insular. But then it's like if there's enough sort of, like, almost like family diversity in terms of like upbringing, parenting styles, like the ways in which everyone kind of functions and then come together as a unit, that is probably beneficial. So I don't want to say that all, you know, that it's beneficial to always grow up around your family, because I can see it, you know, from some perspectives of that not being a good idea, but I think in a lot of instances it is. Yeah. That's so cute. That's really sweet. You were like the little kid cousin that was hanging out, and then all of these like cool boys would come in, because I'm assuming they were probably older as well, if not like older, like a couple years older. It's kind of like when you have friends that have older siblings, like if you had a friend who had an older brother, and then you might have a crush on them, or at least on their friends or something. That's really sweet. Yeah, they were a year older, went to another school. Would you get, like, told off for hanging around them, or would he, like, be really chill and actually include you? Because sometimes, like, family, like, especially if your cousin was almost kind of like a bit of an older brother figure to you, sometimes they're really chill and they'll be like, you know, they'll let you kind of tag along and stuff. Oh, that's awesome. That's really sweet. I love that. Yeah, I have a cousin like that. We're not, unfortunately, and we're not very close anymore, but really? That's awkward. But yeah, because, like I said, most of my, cousins were a lot older than us, but we did have a couple that were, like, older, but close enough in age that we could hang out and they would play with us. And I always remember, like, being really close to him. And I would even tell him, like, when we got a bit older, I'd be like, oh, you're my favorite cousin. And he'd be like, yeah, same. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think that is second cousin. Yeah. I know, and then it becomes, I know, like, isn't it once your cousins have kids, then they become, like, once removed, or, like, different things like that. But I think because I have someone who is a second cousin, whose grandma is my grandma's sister, but she only had one kid, and then they only had one kid, so he literally had, like, no cousins, like, direct cousins, and so he was an honorary first cousin, because he would come to all the family events, even though he wasn't technically, like, a grandkid of my grandparents. He was the second cousin, but, so he was, like, honorary first cousin, because he literally had no other, like, direct cousins. Yeah, I don't know. At that point, you just say relatives. You know what I mean? Oh, this is my relative. You're like, I don't know what iteration, denomination part that is, but we are related in some capacity. So I guess in a way it's very similar on my mom's side, because my mom and my aunt are two girls, and then they didn't, my aunt never had any kids, so it was just me and my brother on that side. So similar situation to that. He's got 3 cute little boys. Aww, that's amazing. Hi, Nimte! Ooh, you're at a soft play center and forgot my headphones, so I can't hear you super well. Aw, that's amazing. Oh, I love a co-work sweater situation. Oh, I love it. I hope you're using some of the new wool that you dyed and carded. Even if you're not, I'm still excited that we're co-crafting together. And I assume you're at soft play for kiddo, so I hope he's having fun at soft play. Love it. We're on the home stretch. Yeah, I have to ask my friend if she found out the sex of the baby that she's having, because I think I told you how both of my it's kind of like, I guess it would sort of be like a jungle gym, but everything is like, kids won't hurt themselves if they fall off it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm trying to think of the best example. Like a soft play center is sort of like a kid's jungle gym, but everything is made out of like the play mats that you would like be on. Yeah. Not yet made the floof into yarn. Ah, amazing. But yeah, they're a huge thing here. Soft play centers are massive in the UK. I don't think I had ever heard of one in Canada at the time. There was like nursery play groups and stuff like that, but not like full soft, like, yeah. Awesome. Man, we had this place called Jammin' Jim we went to as kids. Oh, that's amazing. We always would go to the McDonald's that had the big play places. And there was one in my hometown that the play structure went up 2 levels, and there was like this sort of spaceship you could go up to, and then you were on the top floor of like the McDonald's seating area, and then you could spy on everyone who was eating their food on the 2nd level. They got an after school deal. Oh, that's amazing. £9 for entry, hot food, and a drink. That's an amazing deal. That's awesome. But yeah, I always loved a good play place. Though I feel like there was always that thing where you grew older and you're like, kids absolutely have accidents in those ball pits, don't they? You know, but it's like as a kid, you're like, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I guess the same could be said for, you know, when you go swimming in a pool, right? So you just got to assume when you're a kid, like, there's just boogers and pee residue everywhere. That's just, you know, being a toddler in a public place, being a child in a public environment. So it was always that, or so it was either like the McDonald's play places. Then when you got a bit older, we had this thing called the Fun Zone, which was sort of like a Chuck E. Cheese type thing without the animatronics, but that's one of those places where you would play games to get tickets and then get the little prizes. And so it was always an awesome time when a friend had a birthday party there. When they had a birthday party at the Fun Zone, you were like, this is gonna be a lit birthday party. Oh, we only had Chuck E. Cheese? Yeah. It was a similar... Because Chuck E. Cheese, I'm assuming Chuck E. Cheese is you did play the games and get the tickets and stuff, right? But then there was also the Chuck E. Cheese animatronic of it all. We had basically, like, the not brand, the non-Chuck E. Cheese brand Fun Zone. Pick in Discord, the place. Oh, okay. Oh, amazing. Let's check her out. Yeah. I don't know if there's even any Chuck E. Cheese's in Canada, or if it was only if it was only a States thing. Oh, wow. Yeah, So it basically is like a massive jungle gym. Oh, perfect. I'll play that, I'll show that as well. So it is basically like a massive jungle gym thing. So it's not as soft because there's like hard slides and things, but still soft enough. That's amazing. I don't know why I'm like really taken by these purple chairs. I'm like, oh look, I like the purple chairs. Would have lost my shit in that place. Oh yeah, it looks like a fun time. And that's only one section. That's so cool. And there would always be, especially like in the McDonald's ones, there would always be that one kid who was like a little baby who would climb up too high or get lost and have a meltdown, and then you'd have a parent that has to crawl their ass through the play place to go and like retrieve their child because they just can't cope. That happened to a babysitter of mine. We had a babysitter and we all went to McDonald's, or like my parents were with them and she was babysitting other kids at the time, and the one kid had a meltdown in the play place, and so she had to crawl through it and get everyone out or try to find the kid. So funny. Let's check out your posters. Oh, and the Mary Antoinette is actually a salt and pepper shaker set. Oh, cute. Oh, that's a really nice poster. That's really funny. Off with her head. Oh, that's amazing. That's good too. So they have like different, I don't know, like children levels, I guess is the term. Your lamp is very cute. I also like your little plants. Oh, it's a squirrel lamp. Oh, it is. I see him. I see the little squirrel. That is super cute. I love it. Is this in your kitchen? This looks like a little kitchen island. Yeah. Cute. See, even though you're only allowed to put very minimal holes in the walls, you've made it like, and you know, and it's white. It's very, I like it. It's very aesthetically pleasing. It's not boring by any means. Hi, Saul. Good afternoon, sir. How you doing today? We are slowly stabbing away. There was actually more left to be done than I thought, but I still think we'll get this done today. I still have a good, I don't know, good vibes, good feels. I'm feeling good about it, is what I'm trying to say. But yes, I hope things are going all right. Oh, an unplanned, hey, I love a good unplanned nap. Love a good, you know, your body must have needed it, you know? I love a nap. I am team nap always. But yeah, your body was probably like, listen, we need to chill. And chill you did. Sweet, sweet slumber times. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure your body is like, listen, we are not in as much pain as we have been, so let us take the opportunity while we are here to have a little night-night. Fell asleep in the chair. Hopefully your neck's not all sore, like you're all... You know when you sometimes fall asleep and you don't intend to, and then you're like, oh wow, my whole body hurts now because I slept in a really awkward position. I'm hoping that's not what has occurred for you. Oh, awesome. Oh, that's nice. That's cute. I like the little coin candy section. And then the baby section. Oh, look at that. I love the neon. It looks like a little club for babies. You know what I mean? Look at that. Does that not look like a baby club? That's what it looks like. It looks like all the babies are getting turned in this area right now. They're just wiggling their nappy-filled booties, just living their best life over at the baby club. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad it feels okay. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I have procured local honey, so I'm hoping in the next, 48 hours, maybe, my sinuses will be a little bit kinder to me. Because that's missing from my hay fever arsenal. But it seems to be, again, I don't know if it's a placebo effect, but I will take placebo effects if that means I'm not in excruciating sinus congestion pain. So yeah, doing A-okay. I love it. This is canonically a baby club in my brain. Welcome to the baby club. Yeah, things are good. Oh! I don't know if you can see this. Let's see if I can show you. Can you see the feets in the air? Probably like, yeah, in this general area. Here, right there. Oh, no, they disappeared. Oh, the feet are gone. The feet are gone. Are the security hall baby bouncers? Yeah! Absolutely they would be. I know. The feet disappeared, guys. I'm sorry. Tried to show you the feet. Yes. That's officially baby club canon. The baby bounces. And shake that rattle. Yeah, the rattle, rattle, shake. They have like different formulas behind the bar. They're like, oh, what formula do you want? And they go, oh no, I want the boob. And they go, oh, fresh boob this morning. Move on to the next one. On to the next, on to the next. Yeah, there are like certain threads that don't belong in certain sections that I can see doing some crossover. I have brought down some like masking tape as well. So once everything is like fully stabbed, we can kind of go over the perimeters and catch and pull up any like wayward threads that aren't stabbed into something. I feel like if we go over the project, we'll then pull a bunch of crap out, and we don't want to do that. But I'm thinking at least to clean up some of the scragglies. At least that's what I'm hoping happens. No conga line, it's the choo-choo train. Truly. Oh, I love that so much. I love it so much. I'm like, someone write the animated script for that. I'm like, or don't, actually, because we support the writer's strike. You guys don't know, in the States, they are on strike. Milk on tap. Exactly. So, we support the writer's strike. Oh, we're at 323. Does that mean, so we're at a, what's it? Is it called a palindrome? Where you can read something forwards and backwards the same way? And so right now, our follower number is a palindrome, which is cool. Yeah, the crunch, the sweet, sweet sounds of pepper grinding. As Jess had once said, and now I can't unhear it. Ten out of 10, good crunch. Yeah, exactly. Doom mood. I've not seen that one. Yeah. My favorite thing is, I think Weird Al Yankovic does a song where all of the lines in the song are palindromes. Oh, really? My friend actually just sent me an earring design that's a palindrome. That's so... Just, the universe is aligning. That's some psychic connecting that's happening right now. Unintentional psychic connection with your friend. So part of me is hoping, I don't know, it sounds really shady because it's meant to rain tomorrow. And I don't want it to rain because Liam is meant to go down and help his parents sort out his granddad's house some more. And they have to work on some of the sheds. And the plan is to pull everything out of the sheds and lay them out in the garden. So obviously if it's pissing down with rain, then it would be a problem. But... part of me is also like, wouldn't it be hilarious if for Prince Charles's coronation, it just pissed it down with rain the entire time? I just think that would be funny. And also, like, bunting check, the bunting in the area has been very lackluster. And even the street that I don't think that the street that I thought was having a street festival and is closed for like a street fair is actually having one. It's like, I don't know, man. It's so like, the bunting, like I said, for Queenie Centennial, bunting was like on form. Yeah. Bunting was on form. And like, it's like to the point where there is bunting out, but it's so few and far between. It's very sparse that it almost kind of looks like when everyone else has taken their Christmas lights down and you're like the last house to do it. That's what it's looking like right now. Though I did appreciate one of the buntings that I saw required coordination from 3 different houses because they started the bunting on one house and then they snaked it across the road to another house and then snaked it back to a 3rd house. So I'm like, that's some dedication that you could triangulate your bunting to be hung up. So I did appreciate the effort by those 3 houses to make that happen, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, exactly. She was like, we will rain hellfire down on this day. Again, we still don't know who... Let me Google it. Is anyone even performing? Because I know there was a thing that... Okay. Who's performing at the coronation? Do we actually have, as of 6 hours ago, do we actually have any performers? Oh, really? That's so random. So take that which kind of makes sense. Without Robbie, which is fine. He's not really in Take That anymore. Lionel Richie has been confirmed as a performer. Apparently because he's the first global ambassador of the Prince's Trust, which is a charity that was founded by Prince Charles. The first one is Take That. So Robbie Williams, the guy who is famous in my brain for the song Rock DJ, he was originally in a British band called Take That before they separated and he went solo. But I feel like Take That never really crossed over into the States. But yeah, Lionel Richie. And then apparently Katy Perry is also gonna be performing, which feels really random. But apparently Katy Perry was appointed as an ambassador of the British Asian Trust, a charity founded by Charles back in 2020. Why is she an ambassador of the British Asian Trust? It's very random. Yeah, the one where he ripped his skin off. Yes, that's the one. That's the one. Rock DJ. Okay. Italian opera singer Andrea Bocelli, Welsh singer Sir Bryn Terfel, Freya Ridings. These are all the classical peeps. Alexis French, do not know them. Is she? Yeah, I don't. I guess, you know, like she's British by association because she's with Orlando Bloom, but it does seem very random. And then, apparently Bette Midler will also make an appearance. An official coronation choir, made up of choir groups across the UK, will also perform. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, originally King Charles was very keen to have Adele and Ed Sheeran perform, but Ed was too busy, and Adele turned it down for unknown reasons. Harry Styles also declined due to scheduling conflicts, Kylie Minogue declined, and Elton John declined. And of course Elton John would decline, because he was Princess Diana's friend. Her appointment was quite controversial, was it? Yeah, I would assume so. Because I don't even know what the British Asian Trust is. British Asian Trust. The British Asian Trust was founded in 2007 by Charles and a group of preeminent British Asian business leaders. The trust works to tackle the widespread poverty and hardship in South Asia, to which millions are currently subjugated. Okay. That's fine. So the trust is meant to help disadvantaged individuals in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. Ambassadors and trustees. Ambassadors from the world of television, film, music, sport, and cuisine support the trust. Yeah, including Katy Perry and James Caan. Okay. Huh. It all just seems very random. Because she doesn't, I don't know, like, this sounds really dumb. I guess obviously anybody can support anything. But does she have any... Does she have any, like, Southeast Asian lineage? I don't think so. Let's see. Life and career. German, English, Irish, and Portuguese. Alright. It's just a random thing. How does Elton John like his lettuce? He's a rocket man. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that feels like a really ballsy move by the Royals to ask Elton John to even consider performing. Like, that seems like a real, yeah. Why? Why would you even attempt that? Who performed? Now I'm like, okay, who performed at... Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's why. Like, maybe there's some, like... I don't know, maybe her parents, like, did missionary work in the area, and then she feels connected to it or something like that. But I want to see who performed at the Centennial. At the Queen's... Was it the Platinum Jubilee? I can't even remember. I can't remember which one it was. Yeah, May 2022. That was when, yeah, so it must have been the Platinum one. Okay. Oh, yeah, Queen and Adam Lambert. Uh-huh. Diana Ross. Who else? Duran Duran. Rod Stewart. Damn. Yeah, that seems like the performers are dated in terms of like of a specific era, but it makes a lot of sense, and they're still like rock royalty for the, you know, musical royalty. That would make sense. I don't know, I'm very interested. Like, I don't know. I'm very intrigued by how little people seem to give a shit about this. Which makes sense, though, because it's like we're still in the middle of a cost of living crisis and energy prices are exponential. But yeah, we totally want to donate our tax-paying dollars to fund some royal procession, you know? I think people are very, like, apathetic about it because they're just like, oh yeah, we need to make decisions between rent and food. We don't have time to worry about this guy, you know? It might be snack time soon. Picks and Discord of new dungarees I got, and a fursuit eye I painted as I'm fixing up my suit. Oh, a fursuit eye. I don't know why my brain didn't read that correctly. It almost seemed like it was a brand. I was like, what's a fursuit? And I was like, oh, a fursuit. That's... Wow. Okay. I'm like, guys, it's not even 6 o'clock yet. My brain is just having a problem. Look. Oh my god. They're like carnival dungarees. I'll show you guys. I'll show you. They're freaking adorable. You can't really see it from the Discord, but if you open on the browser and zoom in, they got like, it's like they're carnival-y. That's so cute. I love them. And of course, they're in the classic pink. Because of course they are. Beauty. Love it. That's so cool. Isn't it fursuit eye? Yeah. That's cool. You painted that? That's so detailed. That's amazing. Which, like, I guess fursona is this for? Because I know you have, what is it? You have a couple, eh? I can't remember which animals they are. Were you not making like an axolotl one at one point? Main rainbow one. Oh, awesome. I love the detail in the eyes. Like it looks like a starry night sky, but also I'm very aware that it is also an eyeball. It's both and it's magical. OG New Day. Oh, amazing. Amazing. Yeah. Okay, so you are still, that is still in the progress, but no, that's beautiful. You're so talented. You're so talented. I can't handle it sometimes. That makes sense, because I guess obviously if you're working on this one, and then, because are you still planning to go to TwitchCon, like now that we know that the contest probably isn't happening, or is that still, like, is that costume been backburnered? They made me, right. Yeah, that makes sense. You have to sort of process of importance. This sounds like very epic video game music, and I'm here for it. I feel like I have an invisibility star in Mario, and I'm like blasting through a level. That is kind of what this is giving me right now. Yeah, still go to TwitchCon. Oh, you got, oh, amazing! That's cool. Yeah, I couldn't remember if you were still planning to go regardless of whether or not the contest was a thing. But that's really cool. Oh, Papa's on the move again. Hello. Got a free ticket as an artist alley. Oh, amazing! Oh, that's so cool! Oh, that's so cool. You're gonna be helping them at their stall. That's awesome. I love that. I feel like artist alleys are my favorite parts of like any sort of convention because everyone is just so talented and they make the coolest stuff. I think that actually happened to my brother for Fan Expo in Canada. He was helping out a friend with her artist alley stall and got a free in. They're too expensive. Yeah. Oh, that's frustrating. That's annoying. Hopefully you find someone. Did I not grab a snack? I did not. That's frustrating, and it's hard because you don't want to fully commit with maybes because it's like, it's the funds. You got to be able to, yeah, that's frustrating. I'm gonna go get a snack. So I'll just, I don't know. There's no point in doing the BRB. You guys can just, I don't know, play find the weird stuff on the bookshelf. I'll be there. BRB. I'll mute this though. Guys, I didn't realize this is my last granola bar. Hashtag Nature Valley, please sponsor me. Gotta pick up a few more. Also waiting on a new passport. For some reason I didn't take my boss's account. Oh, that's annoying. Oh. That's annoying. I have to go through that. That's end of the year Tasha's problem, because my passport expires next year, so I need to get a head start on filling it out. But you have to send away your current passport in order to get your new passport, and we have like destination weddings to go to this year, so after the destination wedding in September is done, then I can like start that process, because I don't want to be, because sometimes it can take such like a long time to process, so I'm like, I don't want to be without my passport and then be like, oh shit, guess I can't go to these things. But it's annoying because I have to renew my Canadian passport, and around the UK, like, if you need to get official passport photos taken, they have a bunch of just, like, passport official photo booths you can go to get, like, IDs and stuff and send off those, and that's fine. But the specs of the Canadian passports are larger than what these photo booths print out, so I have to go and get specialty passport photos made, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, but luckily I think I know where I need to go, so that should be fine. Oh, interesting. Yeah, because they wanted you to send the old one to get a new one, so you have to report it. That's annoying. That's like another bureaucratic step. Okay. Snack break achieved. Aw, that's alright. I appreciate you stopping by, Sol. I'm glad you had a nap. I think you needed the rest. I appreciate you so much. I'm glad you're feeling even just a little tiny bit better. And I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Yeah. That is weird that they didn't accept it. I guess, is it because they, like... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they see that as, like, a potential conflict of interest. Like, maybe in the government's brain, they're like, oh, your boss is signing this because he's gonna, like... I don't know, like traffic you or some shit. I don't know, like some conflict of interest thing, which doesn't really make sense to me, but maybe that's how they justify it, of like, oh, this could be seen as like potential coercion or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, that seems wild. Was it just like maybe the signature, like could they still sign it on the physical form, or is it just that is not, he's like, they're no longer an option for the signing? Nine years. God, if I have to do 9 years, it's gonna be a huge pain in the ass. Yeah, no problem, Kat. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you also have a fabulous weekend. I will see you next week. Keep living your best life. Whoop, whoop, whoop. We love it. We love getting off work early Fridays. I have a friend. Oh. Yeah. That's good, hopefully. Ha 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 ha! Yeah, you're like, listen, if this is not acceptable. Yeah. I'm like, they know me very well. Thank you very much. Okay, I think we actually are almost finished with this color, and we're all ready to move on to the last color, which is wild. Hi, Aurora. Good afternoon. How are you doing? Yeah, we're on the final push. We're actually working on the little flowers here because I actually completely forgot that we needed to fill these in too. So we weren't as far along as I thought we were, which is okay because I feel like I was worried we were gonna like finish this too quickly. And you know, now we are taking our sweet, sweet time. But yeah, it's coming along. It is the final push, the last few colors. I hope you're having a fabulous Thursday. Or not Thursday, damn, fabulous Friday. Where did my brain go? But yeah, I think after we're done filling everything in, I think there is still some like maybe some tidying up to do. Which I'll do on stream if we have time. If not, that'll be like an off-stream Tasha problem. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. It was really fun. Like, again, I've never felt it in this way before. So I'm intrigued. I'm really liking, like, I'm looking forward to the possibility of making my own sort of like 2D felting designs. I'll need to figure out like the best sort of base to do that with, but because I think it'll be another thing that would probably look really nice in it, like in an embroidery hoop, similar to cross stitching. I think it could. Yeah. Yes. Oh no. Does he have like a chest infection, or is it just, that's so frustrating. Another round. It is very mild out. I ended up taking myself on 2 walks today. One with Shadow and one to pick up things that I wasn't able to take Shadow to pick up with me. And by the end of the second walk, I was roasty toasty. I needed to change and was like, really, now I'm getting a little chilly. The door is open, so that's probably part of it. But yeah, it's super mild today. Yeah. Another round. Yeah, it was so annoying because it was meant to rain a little bit when I went out for the second walk. And I was like, oh, do I bother taking a rain jacket? Or do I just like wear a jumper and not worry about it? And then Liam was like, oh, it looks like it is starting to rain. You should probably wear your jacket. And so I did. And then it just spit for 2 seconds and then like didn't rain again. And so then I was like roasting on the way home. I took the jacket off and just like held it for the majority of the walk. But I was like, I'm sure if I didn't bring the rain jacket, it would have decided to torrentially downpour. You know, it's just the way that things are sometimes. So I'm glad I had it with me, but I was definitely very warm afterwards. Okay, have we filled in everything that we need to fill in for these little guys? I think so. I think we are finally ready to move on to the final color. It's the final color. But yeah, so we're filling these. Ready to do. It's pre-mounted on a bit of wood. So I think to protect it, it might be nice. Oh shit. I've obviously stabbed it into this foam block. Interesting. Interesting. That's something I didn't even consider. I probably should have been checking the entire time we have been felting this, because I've absolutely felted it into the foam block. Whoops. I thought, yeah. Well, I guess it stays in there. But anyway, the point is still the same. I thought maybe I would stick it in a shadow box if I'm concerned about like this getting really dusty over time. So I think this could fit in. So there's a bit of wood there. But yeah, this is supposed to be able to, oops. This is supposed to be able to come off. But I have fully attached all of the threads to it. I can probably lightly pull it now. Is that going to be dangerous? We'll see. Oh yeah, no, you're supposed to, it's like when I do the felting with the 3-dimensional object, you're meant to stab it on the felt block, but not stab it into the felt or into the foam block, because you're meant to be able to like pick it up and move it around and stuff. And so obviously I have fully stabbed it all the way in. Luckily, it doesn't matter too much because this is a picture. But obviously, if I was making a 3-dimensional object, that would be bad. That is so funny. So that's what the back looks like. It looks like it's fine. We've not pulled anything through. This is, so obviously, look at this. You can see like a faint inkling of what was here. So yeah, I didn't even consider that. Well, it obviously came out. Yeah, it does. It looks like moldy flowers. That's so silly. Yeah, that's so funny. Oh well. That's fine though. But yeah, nothing terrible happened. It's not like we pulled everything through it. It actually feels nice and fuzzy. It's actually a really fun feeling. But anyway, so let's put that back on here. And yeah, try to not... How can you not, though? There's literally... This is so thin. That was probably bound to happen. Oh, well. Oh, well. Move on to the next. Yeah, because as far as I know, like, if it's similar to regular felting... You're meant to remove that foam block afterwards. The foam block is just sort of like, it's similar to this where it's like a prevention of like stabbing the table and breaking your needle and stuff. It's just kind of there as a cushion. It's not meant to be part of the finished product. But obviously if I just keep stabbing straight into it, that was bound to happen. That's so funny. Because I couldn't not. Like, if I stabbed it, like, you can't... This isn't very thick. Like, this is a very thin bit of felt. So to stab through it and have it not... Interesting. Okay. Let's just continue. So I guess technically, now that I'm reflecting on this, we probably were supposed to avoid making the pepper grinding sounds. Because then it's going into the foam board and we don't want that. But it was such a satisfying sound. And this is thick enough that it needed some sort of push. I don't think there's any point in me being paranoid about this. We'll just rip it out of the back like we did earlier. Let's not worry. Let's just finish and be worried about pulling the back block off afterwards. Yeah, exactly, right? I'm like, it's fine. We can just rip it out again like we did last time. No worries. No muss, no fuss, no stress. No, you didn't worry me at all. In fact, it was probably good that we made this realization. It was like, oh yeah, this is meant to be removable. Oh, it is stuck. That is probably what, yep. Oh, that's so funny. I love it. I think because I was so, like, because you're so used to, because this is a two-dimensional thing, because I'm not worried about having to flip it over and make sure that this, like, the back looks the same, I was, like, completely removing the fundamentals of don't stab into the styrofoam. Because I was like, it doesn't matter, because we're not going to see the other side of it. But I would like to use, because that styrofoam, well, who knows now that we've stabbed so many holes in it, but because the foam block that I have for my other needle felting stuff, it's getting quite worn down. So I was like, we have a new, like, you know, a new styrofoam block or whatever, a new foam block to work with. And it's like, I've stabbed so many tiny holes in it now. But that's okay. I think I can just flip it over and use the other side. But now we know. But yeah, I think if we didn't have all of these little flowers to fill in, we probably would then have time to start the string art, but we'll just have to have shaky camera, hammer, nail time another time. Because that's the other thing that I'm very aware of, that like when we do this string art, I have to hammer a bunch of nails into a bit of wood, and all of the camera equipment is on, like, attached to the table. So when I'm gonna be moving stuff, like, everything's gonna shake. So we're just gonna have, like, shaky earthquake cam the entire time we're working on that project. So, fair warning. But yeah, I think what we'll do... Yeah. Yeah, I'll show you. This is what it looks like. So we've got a bit of wood, and then you nail things. You put a bunch of little finishing nails in a pattern, and then you just... It seems like you just kind of willy-nilly thread things to sort of like color it in. And then it's going to be a bunch of burbs on a bit of wood. So that should be interesting. So it's another kit, so we should hopefully have everything we need. Except I think we need scissors, but that's fine. But yeah. But I think next week will be... Well, we'll see. I'll try to get more done. We'll try to do other things as well. I think maybe what we'll do is next week we're going to start the decoupage. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, it's just like an outline of nails and then threading the string in a way that kind of fills it in. So it seems pretty straightforward. I'm assuming unless, you know, the hammering part is going to be really difficult. I don't think it will be. I could see that maybe being a single stream. or like 2 streams worth of project, maybe. But I think next week I want to focus on decoupaging my kids' treat boxes. The only thing though is I feel like they'll need like gluing time and stuff like that. So maybe what we'll do as well, because also I don't know how interesting me sticking bits of paper on and gluing over top of them constantly is gonna go. So maybe what we'll do is we'll also watch that Across the World show episode where they end up going through my hometown, so we can do both. And then that way when stuff is drying, we can be like reacting to... I have no idea if I'm going to be able to recognize any of the things that they're going to be going to. I've not pre-watched this. This will be reacting in real time. So there is also a possibility that we might watch the episode and I might not notice anything. Though I think a friend of mine who is also from my hometown, who's living in the UK, said that they go to Dynamic Earth, which is like one of our... It's like a mining specific science center. So I think they go and do that. So that I will recognize and be able to talk about. But we'll see. So just so that way we're doing more than just gluing stuff. But we'll see, because again, it's meant to... I'm actually really impressed, because I ordered the Hobbycraft stuff yesterday. And it's meant to be delivered tomorrow. So I'm hoping to get a few days. I'll get a good start on it. What might end up happening? I don't think so. But if I really have my shit together over the next 3 days, maybe I can get them all decoupaged, or at least the majority of them, before next Tuesday. And then if that's the case, then, again, we got string art, we got neglected cross stitches to work on. We got tons of crafts we could be doing. So it's all good. And then I will do, there is still plans, not, let me see actually. Let me see. Okay, no, not next week, but the week after, I am planning to do a baking stream. I still want to make that happen, but I want to bake, because basically there's no point in me doing a baking stream and having so much pie and no one to share it with, whereas when I'm going to be having like 5 family members rocking up on that week, it would be good because then I will have more people with which to consume the baked goods. So I don't want to do that too early, but the plan is still to do one at some point. So not next week, but the week after. So we're still going to craft next week and maybe react to stuff. And then we will do some baking. Because I found this recipe, well, I have to find a way to make it gluten-free. But I found this YouTube channel of a guy who made an Earl Grey cream pie. Inspired by like I think it might have been like a specific, I don't know if it's like a Cheesecake Factory or like another kind of pie franchise. So it was a pie that was inspired by that, and I was like, excuse me, tea-related baking streams, sign me up. But obviously it's not gluten-free, so I need to go through and like find the components and then kind of make my own recipe based off of that. I assume that the actual cream part of the Earl Grey pie will all be gluten-free, so that won't be a problem. It'll just be the pie crust, and I'm sure I can find like generic pie crust recipe. So that is the plan. I wrote down all the ingredients he had, because the other thing too is this it's always annoying when the YouTube channel will have the ingredients listed but won't like have a full recipe. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm trying to think. I guess, to be fair, I don't even know if I have, because like lemon meringue is a meringue pie. But I would think like a cream pie is like a banana cream pie or something. If I have, it must have been like years and years ago. But I assume it's sort of like, yeah. I assume it's kind of like a no-bake cheesecake in a way, like the filling. But maybe not. I'm not entirely sure. So we'll find out together. But yeah, I would assume the consistency of the filling is somewhere between like a no-bake cheesecake and like a lemon meringue pie, maybe? That's my assumption. Again, I've not had a lemon meringue, but to be fair, I've not had just varying pies in general in a while. I made those butter tarts, which were like mini pies, and then obviously around Thanksgiving we'll have like a pumpkin pie. But like in terms of, I don't know, I don't consume a lot of pie. I guess too though, because it's harder. Because at the grocery store, if you want to buy like gluten-free baked goods, you can buy, I feel like cake is more readily available than pie in terms of like pre-made gluten-free. There's like pie crust, like baking packs, like, you know, the pack, like, oh my God. Mixes. Wow. Okay. So yeah, like pie crust mixes that you can get in the gluten, like in the free from aisle. But in terms of actual like ready-made pies, to be fair, maybe in the like frozen section, but that's not something I really see very often. So I think that's another reason. Like unless the only way I'm getting pie is if it's homemade, which, you know, that's like, there's other things that I and other people in my life will bake before we'll bake pie. So this will be a novel experience in multiple ways. Yeah. Maybe, but even just like pie in general though, like I don't think I've come across like a for instance like an apple pie or something like that. Ooh, jeez, I keep kicking the camera stand. I'm not sure. I think at least my parents, like my mom where she lives, have found like specific bakeries. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think so. I think probably if there is a pie, it would be like your more traditional like apple or rhubarb or blueberry pie than like a Boston cream or whatever. Because then it's really just the pie shell. And then I think if that's the case, people would buy the gluten-free pie shell and then put their own like cream filling in the center. I'm assuming. But yeah. Because like again, with any sort of like meringue pie or cream pie or things like that, you're not putting like a lattice or they're not covered. Whereas I feel like most like pre-made pie you'd buy at a store or a bakery would be one of the ones where there's like a lattice or like a full coverage pastry on top. Possibly. That just seems to be a more common thing. Because I think too it requires like it has more work. You know what I mean? Like there's more effort that I think probably goes into those sorts of crust type ratios and things. So it's like if you're just gonna, yeah, I don't know. Also too, I'm sure, like I don't know if like with banana cream pies and things like that, if you can really freeze them. Whereas you can freeze like the fruit pies, I think. I don't know enough about pie, but I would assume that you can freeze them, and they would freeze better than a cream-based pie, I assume. Yeah. This is someone who knows very little about baking, though. Because I know you can freeze cheesecake, but I don't know how... But cheesecake is meant to be more dense, so that makes more sense. Whereas I assume a cream-based pie is more like a whipped light and fluffy center, and I don't think that would freeze very well. Possibly. But I don't know. Next time I go, well, because the bakery I went to was more like savories and stuff and like jam donuts. But I wonder if I go to like one of the bakeries in the area, if they even really have pies. I think they have more pastries. Now I'm like having an entire complex about pie. And I'm like, yeah, maybe people don't make pie here very often. Maybe it is more of a North American thing. People aren't about that pie life, it seems. So I just like snorted and like post-nasal drip came out of my face. Usually have chilled desserts. Yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah, there's not enough left to justify freezing. That's also fair. Easy breezy. Pie life is the best life. Yeah. I know a lot of people who are team pie. But it just seems to be like now I'm questioning the availability of it in the UK. Because I would assume at least like apple pies and stuff, especially around the fall time. But I don't know. Because to be fair, the only pie that I am aware of that is like very distinctly, yeah, the only like British pies. That's the thing. That's what it is. That's what it is. See, British people or the UK does pie, but they do savory pies. So they do like chicken pot pies and like steak and ale pies and stuff like that. That's where all of the pie filling is going, or where all the pie crust is going. They don't got time to make sweet pies because they're filling it all with meats and stuff, except for a mince pie. The little mince pies, that's the only like sweet pie that I'm aware of that is like a thing here. You know what I mean? Yeah. That sounds really nice. I know there's a pie shop not near us, but sort of like a bit of a trek, but sort of in our area, that they do gluten-free pies, but you have to go there really early because they obviously go quite quickly because they're a specialty item. But there's more places. So again, there's more in the gluten-free aisles. In the chilled aisles, you can get savory pastries. So I've definitely seen like a chicken pot pie or like a chicken and gravy pie or whatever. That's available in the frozen section. This is a sweet pie conspiracy. And even I feel like when you see like apples as a dessert in the UK, most of the time it's gonna be an apple crumble. That's going to be more likely what the dessert offering of the apple flavor is. I feel like it very rarely is an apple pie. It's usually a crumble. which is kind of like a pie without the crust, kind of, in a way. But yeah. Maybe that's all it is. The UK are a bunch of savory pie people. And honestly, to be fair, that's something that I didn't have a lot of experience in North America. So maybe, I feel like it is a thing, but it's like less of a thing. So maybe that's all it is. It's just that, you know, each area has their own, their either savory, sweet preferences. And though both exist in both places, you're just more likely in a commercial setting to find one over the other. You know what I mean? I don't know why this is looking so messy to me. I think there's just a lot of scraggly pieces. I think when we go back over it with the fuchsia, then it might bring it to life a little bit more, and I will be less annoyed by it. I just want clean lines. Yeah, no problem. No way! 666, the number of the beast. That's the only part of the song I know. That's incredible. I love that for you. What an amazing number of points. That's incredible. I love that. Alright, final stretch. Hopefully. Once, because this is looking alright. I'm less mad at it now. So hopefully once we put, we kind of do these lines over again. Then we'll move on to the last flower, which is wild. Food time, could have got nugs and chips. Ooh, honestly, food of champions in both respects. That's like when Liam and I order fish and chips or yes. Yes, exactly. When Liam and I will order fish and chips because they don't do I don't think we found any takeaway that does gluten-free fish and chips. And so he'll get fish and chips and I'll just get chips. So it's very similar vibes. Similar situations. Also, we have emergency chicken nuggets in the freezer for my nephew. Because every once in a while, well, not usually, but usually when we have family get-togethers, we'll end up, if we're ordering takeaway, we'll order pizza and things because we know it's universally things that everybody enjoys. But every once in a while, I like to switch it up and order something different. And so sometimes the rest of the family struggles to find things. But let's say if we order Chinese food, we will have emergency nuggets for my nephew. Because That's just what you gotta do. I think now that this is getting reinforced, it's looking a little bit nicer. Another snack break. Just making these a little bit more pointed. There we go. Second last one. We're on the final flower. It's the final flower. Oh, I'm getting all of the chili. Might have to close the door. It's alright, we can go through it. We can get through it, get her done. Do the things. Whoa. See, now I want chips. Now that's all I can think about. Thanks, Nick J. I'm like, oh, now I really fancy some chips. How are they? Because I feel like sometimes, like, certain chips, they'll be, like, you know, crispy on the outside, soft on the inside. But sometimes you can get, like, really limp chips. They're, like, I don't know. There's, like, so much moisture in them. Like, the steam if they come in a container. When you get delivery of chips, usually the chips are, like, better when you fry, like, when you, at least for us, when we air fry them. Because when they arrive, obviously they're, like, piping hot. And then the moisture from the container they come in then like makes the chips very like limp and almost soggy and like a consistency, which is not nice. So I don't know, man. I feel like all chips are good, but some chips are much higher quality than others. Like, I'm never mad when I get to tuck into a potato in any form, but there's definitely superior chips. Oh, I'm actually gonna go grab a jumper. Give me 2 seconds. I can tell I'm getting chilly because like my nail beds are looking like a bit of a darker color. Can't tell. I still need to paint my nails. I keep telling you guys I'm gonna paint them and then I just never do. And I feel weird when they're not painted, but I haven't had like a consistent 2-hour time frame because it takes me like 2 hours to like really make sure I do my nails properly. And so I've not had a chunk of 2-hour time that I've felt like I can just sit down and dedicate to painting my nails. I feel like I have other things like on my brain and like other things I want to get done. Or by the time I have a chunk of 2 hours, it's like 10 o'clock at night or like 8 o'clock at night. And I'm like, I'm tired. I don't have the brain space to do this. Making sure we really fill in the sections needed. I'm really intrigued by the texture that this, because it almost looks like you can see the stab points, like they're using more fluff than I am or something. I don't know, it's just very interesting, the like texture pattern. Yeah, possibly. I did that around Christmas time where I did a nail stream because I was like, I'm not gonna get this done unless I stream it. So that is definitely an option. Yeah, if it doesn't happen this weekend, then maybe that's one of the things that we'll have to do next week. I'll finally be like, listen. Because my plan was to do like a Skittle manicure, which is like where every nail is a different color, inspired by this thing, by this picture, because I feel like I have not all of the colors, but I have some of the colors that are used in this needle felting art. Wow, okay. Used in this picture. Let's just, you know, it's obviously getting close to 6 o'clock because my brain is slowly shutting down. But yeah, so I found like, especially this turquoise and this sort of more like bright pink color. I thought it would be really fun to have nails inspired by the art that we're doing. And I just haven't gone around to it. That could be another thing that we could potentially, because if we do a nail stream, because there's like drying time in between, we could watch. That's another thing that could be done while watching that Across the Globe show. We have possibilities and options. Oh, my hands. My hands are getting cold. Yeah, I got 20 minutes. I think we can get this done. I believe in us, guys. I believe in us. Once we filled this in, it'll be about going back over some of the sections. Like I said, and just working to get rid of the black outline. because it's visible in some sections but not in other sections, so it makes the most sense to just try to minimize it everywhere. So we'll go in and do some cleanup. It's like, I'm aware that it's probably something I could have done throughout the project, but I feel like sometimes I get impatient and I just want to like move on to the next color, the next area, where when it's like, you know, 99% done and I'm like, I'll do the 1% later. But then it could turn around that like by the time we finish, I might be like, it's good enough, you know? But we'll see. I don't know, I feel like I'm really bad at like just good enouging, you know what I mean? Where it's like things are like 98%, 97% complete and you're just like, yeah, it's good enough. It's probably like an anxiety coping strategy, whereas if I like 100% it and then it's like not good enough, then you feel bad. Whereas, but if it's not good enough and it's only 98% completed, it's like, well, it's only not perfect because I've only 90%, like 98%ed it and not 100%ed it, you know? I think it's like a self-preservation, perfectionism coping strategy. That's just me psychoanalyzing myself. It's like if you only half-ass something, you can't be disappointed if your full ass isn't good enough. Because you've not done it. Maybe the texture that is on the box is being used because they're like clumping up the different sections of felt and then stabbing them in. I wonder if that's what it is. They're like clumping it up and then kind of stabbing it individually. That might explain the texture. And yeah, where'd the music go? Oh, it's still around. Cool. Sometimes what happens is I find that sometimes the Pretzel Rock songs, they'll have like a fade out in the song, but it'll be fading out for like 10 seconds, 10, 20 seconds, and you're kind of like, oh, where's the music gone? But it's just like tapering off the end of the song previously. Then it all kicks up again. You're like, oh, okay. Just making sure I'm not sticking the foam block to the thing again. We're periodically checking in to make sure we can separate the two pieces. So there is, what is it? Now there's gonna be 3 weeks. Whoa, just chuck that. 3 weeks until all the family rocks up. No, it's 2 weeks now. Damn. Yeah, oh, no problem, Aurora. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you so much. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. I will talk to you soon. Thank you very much for hanging out today. But yeah, shit, I thought I had 4 weeks. Then I thought I had, no, there's 2 weeks, guys. 2 weeks until, that's gonna go by really fast. Damn. But luckily, knock on wood, I feel like everything's ticking along, you know, stuff is getting sorted. There's a couple more pieces, left to sort out, left to finish up, but it's all like all the major things before all my family show up is happening. One of the things I need to do actually is I'm trying to, basically my family is visiting for about 5 weeks, and within those 5 weeks, I know for sure for at least 2, maybe 3 of those I won't be able to stream at all. Maybe there might be some one-off, maybe there'll be some family streams. I'm not sure. I've not spoken to the family if they feel comfortable doing that yet. But yeah, so what I've been doing, obviously on Twitch there's nothing I can do about it. If I'm not going live, there's nothing that can be done. But over on YouTube, because that's where I upload all of the VODs of the Twitch stuff, because I'm gonna have, you know, multiple weeks of no VODs, I've started uploading in reverse chronological order the streams from last year, because I really slacked on my upload schedule and got overwhelmed, so I decided this year I would just start at the beginning of the year, but I still have a bunch of stuff that I eventually want to get up there. It is a little bit confusing though, because I'm doing reverse chronological order just so I make sure I don't miss anything. But because of that, we have some crafts that are like multiple, like episode, multiple streams, in a row. But of course, uploading them reverse chronologically, you get the finished product stream before you get the starting the project stream. So I can see that being a bit confusing, from a linear storytelling perspective. But obviously the content of the streams, even if the crafts are progressing, we talk about a bunch of different shit every time, so. But yeah, so that's something I need to work on setting up as well. I also want to experiment. I've not ever uploaded a shorts video to YouTube. I have like stream clips, and so that feels like that would be a thing. I'm not sure if there's a specific way I'm supposed to upload shorts versus regular content. I don't think so, but that's something else I want to experiment with. Because obviously all of your clips are saved in the over here, but just another way to share those moments with the world. Okay, we got 10 minutes left, 9 minutes left, 9 minutes left. Little section here. So I do think that cleanup is going to be happening off stream. But the actual completion of the project will be done today, which is very exciting. And then afterwards, we're going to go over, and actually I might as well start queuing that up now. Because our good friend of the channel, Jazzy Colors, is doing her very first ever subathon. So we're going to go over there and support her in that. She's a super fun, loving, wonderful, wholesome human being and makes me so happy. So I really want to go and show her love with that. So we're going to, let me gear that up now before we finish up, just so, because I know we know where we're going. Just because I know that Twitch takes a million years to load up in 2 different places on my laptop. So if we do that now, and then we go over to Jazzy and see what she's up to. I plan to show you. Oh, amazing! Oh, that's so awesome. Well, guys, if you're not. If you're not following New Day, I don't know why you wouldn't be. You should. That'd be awesome, though. Do it. Do it. Okay, final threads going in here. Let's just clean up a couple little sections here. And then we'll go back over the sort of hot pink section. And then, like I said, there is some cleanup that needs to be done, but then effectively, we have finished the project. Let's get these. Final push. Get these popping. Whoop. Whoop, whoop, whoop. They have birthday parties here and the woman announces them, has the most grating voice. Oh no. They also lead the party around the place in a conga line. Ooh, that's cringy. Oh no. And it's one of those things too where I'm sure they're doing that, but they probably low-key hate that. Like, they probably hate their job and they're just doing it because they have to. That's so funny. It would probably be a sick, like an amazing place for a children's party. Just, you know, conga lining aside. Yeah. We're losing the separation. There we go. There we go. Sorta, kinda, maybe. It's expensive. Oh, really? Yeah, that's one of those rich parent full classroom party invite situations. Or it would be like, you know, your kid only gets to pick like 2 friends to go to these things. Oh yeah, no problem. That's amazing. You're like, step away from the Congo line. I'm like, as long as Kiddo and his friend had fun, that's all that matters. Last year, yeah. I remember you did that. That was amazing. Yeah, I remember you getting, like, it wasn't too bad of a deal in the grand scheme of things, which was nice. All right. Aside from the cleanup, I believe she is finished. Dun, 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 dun. It looks really cool. Though I did notice that now we've taken the foam block out and the tension in this is sort of all over the place, similar to our, whatchamacallit, our rug hooking thing. But, it's pretty good. I'm waiting until the kids are old enough to go. That would be so much fun. Go-karting would be so good. Yeah! Excellent. So here's some close-ups of some of the components. But yeah, so see here, the black lines, I'm going to go through and just kind of fill them in a little bit more so we don't get as much of that. But basically, we have completed another craft kit, friends. Check us out. Boom, boom, boom. Tick, tick, tick. Off the list. Thank you so much for joining me on this fabulous endeavor. We are now, like I said, next week we're probably decoupaging or painting our nails, or what we're gonna do a bit more like, I don't know, we're gonna do some reacting. We're gonna switch it up a little bit. I think we've been working on the same project for a couple weeks now. Let's do something a little bit different. Let's switch it up. We'll see what happens, guys. I think I'll actually post a stream schedule over on Instagram and Discord at some point. I'll actually make a schedule this week because the previous weeks were just like, we're just doing the thing, you know? But I'll actually, you know, have some variety next week, maybe, hopefully. Sort of, kind of, maybe. But thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I hope you have a fabulous weekend. We're going to go give some love to Jazzy, who's doing her very first subathon, and we want to go and show her all of the love. So let's go do that now. Okay, bye!